Hey, thanks for joining me again for another AK Cobra Gen 3 video. Well, we need to get this car off to paint ASAP, so I need to finish off making the rest of the holes in the body before it goes. So that's going to include the windscreen wipers, the fog and reverse lights, which we're going to French in, and also the jack lifters. So please give me a like and subscribe, it really helps me a lot, and let's get cracking. Alright, so windscreen wipers then, let's get cracking here. So we've got to install these wiper gears, and they have to come up at an angle, and this is the angle that's denoted by a bit of rubber pipe there. So we need to come up like that, through the escutcheon here, all at a nice kind of angle like that. So I've marked up where I want my hole to be, which was there. So basically 10 inches from center line for a 2 wiper system. I'm not sure about the 3 wiper system. Leave a bit of gap from the rubber there, from the windscreen. And then I've just started my hole. So I've just started it on the lower side of my little rubber O-ring there. And I'm going to go in at an angle and just open it up slowly, hopefully. Accurately, and then poke up until this is big enough, and then poke it in from the other side and make sure it's all looking good, something like that. So let's just make this hole a little bit bigger. Alright, so there we go. So I'm pretty pleased with that. Obviously I've got to put the rubber bit on, but this is all coming up at a nice angle, and same angle as, you know, the escutcheon. So you would then put a nut on this, and that would hold it all in place, ready to fit the wipers. So I'm pretty pleased with that. So we'll just do that on the other side and we're all set. I'm not going to bother fitting the wipers or anything yet, because it only has to come off again anyway, so I might as well just do it the once when it comes back from paint. So all pretty good. Right, so the wiper holes are all done and tested, so that's all good. We'll revisit the fitting of the mechanism and the bungee tube underneath with the worm gear at a later date, probably when the car comes back from paint, so no dramas there. So we're going to move on to the rear lights here. So now to become a little bit easier, we've got a decent center line, and there we go. Right, so now I'm going to mark out, I don't know, it's just guesstimate really. So we're going to go with 4 inches, just where this red mark is. So that's roughly where it's going to go, and I'm just going to drop it down just a touch for about there, and I think we'll be Okay, so the idea is I'm just going to cut out a hole and a little bit of the boot floor, because I think the boot floor is around here, so I just have to cut into that, and then I'll be able to sink in the lights. And I'll be able to make use of, well, I might have to make a hole or make use of a hole. I'll be able to put a bolt through there, washer and a bolt through there, and drill and tap into the back chassis that the fuel tank's fixed to, and it holds the light nice and stable, exactly where I want it. And it's quite a good solution, I think. And then we can just drop the wires down for a handy hole, and job done. So let's get this marked up and cut. Okay, so initial holes cut, purposely made a lot smaller so I can just file them out gently, because it's devilishly hard to get a straight line on this car. So, you know, and plus, you know, the mold isn't 100% accurate, you know, on either side symmetrical. So, so it's very much an aesthetics thing. It looks like I've got them in good shape here. I was going with a spirit level, and I noticed this red line here is 3 or 4 mil higher than over there. But then if you measure the gap, it's pretty much the same. So I'm just going to have to see how it looks really, and just ease it out. But I think we're pretty much on the right track. Certainly from the center line they're going to be the same distance, so when the stripes come down, etc., that'll all should be fine. It's just whether I'm a couple of mil up or down on each one. And the same deal will apply to the quick jacks as well. So I've taken a measurement which comes to over here, just past AK's kind of markings, if you like, and on this side it's almost accurately within AK's markings. So again, it's an aesthetics thing. We're going to take a compass, I guess, and go from this curve and scribe some lines and see what we can do on that side as well, and try and match them up. Anyway, back to here. So I need to cut out a bit of the boot floor now, which is what you can see here, and then I'll be able to start sliding my light in. Rightio, so let me catch you up. So I've just been busy away, had to have some music on to get this done, so I couldn't video, but we're on a pretty good shape here, and I can now sink in my light. A touch tight. I need to think about paint and just ease of fitting, so I'm going to ease it out another mil or so, but really pleased with that hole. Got some nice corners going on here. I have to be careful because you can let that saw get away from you. Luckily, this is going to come down and take care of that, so I need to be aware of that next time I cut, that obviously the oscillating goes a bit further than your eyes can see and can dig in. Anyway, so that's all fine because that's way down there, so that should be good. So yeah, so I'm just going to open this one up and try and keep it neat, so this can just slide in and out. And then what we need to do is open up the boot floor a little, because obviously the light will let me get you in here. The light will sink in, and it will just need the floor cut out, but that's not a problem. Once that's all done, this bit never needs to come out again. The bulb's replaceable by taking the front out, so we can just tiger seal the little bit that's stuck up there, stop any damp coming in. Anyway, that's a way off. I'm just more interested in getting the holes nice and neat first of all, so let's crack on with that one. Alright, unfortunately my audio didn't record here, but as you can see the lights are all finished there. Went slightly through too far into the boot there with my holes slightly misshapen, but I'll use some filler just to fill those holes up, and then tiger seal, make sure no dampness and spray can come up and soak the boot area. So I'm really pleased with all of that, and of course I'll just be putting a 5mm bolt through the back of this light fit in straight into the chassis member, which you can get to by taking the front of the light off, fix the back of the light, and then re-secure the front of the light. So that's a really nice solution. Rightio, onto the jack lifters. So yeah, so that's interesting. So I've taken many points of reference and measurements and tried to get a straight line, and gone from a straight line and measured. The gap between the holes is 55mm. I've gone in this here, and I can just about scuff the inside of the lip there, and I've gone over here, and if I sort of do the same measurement, I can just about, well, it's not quite scuffing the inside of the lip. But again, this whole aesthetics thing, I think I'm going to have to go with that. It's about 3mm difference, but you know, this mold is not 100% accurate. So I'm pretty chuffed with that. I don't think you're going to notice the difference. I think aesthetically it's going to be okay. So I've dropped a line down, 55mm. So these are my two holes, and I'm going to go for it. All right then, so I just made my first hole. Fortuitously I made it here, and I noticed it was a little bit low, because where it comes out and hits the bracket, I don't think I'd even be able to get a nut on, because we use is it 10mm threaded bar through here, and it's too low. So I just put 5mm on that, and 5mm on the other ones, and then we've got our just from B&Q, I guess you've got some chrome plated brass tube here, which is just ideal. I've just drawn my circle around there, so I'm just going to open it up with my little grinding attachment, and hopefully we'll be just be able to go through there no problem at all, and see how it all looks. Okay, so this is the basic idea. Obviously threaded bolts here. These aren't long enough, it's just to hold it all together. Or maybe they are long enough, but the tube's too long. And we'll get nice acorn type ends, nuts on here as well. But just for the purpose of fitting and seeing how it looks, that's basically it. So I'm pretty happy with that and where it's all coming out. So for the purpose of paint, I think I might, you know what, I'm pretty happy with that. So I think I'm just going to bevel them slightly, because I think that looks really nice, with a nice curved turn into the hole. And I think we're all set. So obviously we now need to drill all the way through into the mounting brackets. Definitely need to do that now before it goes to paint, because otherwise we'll be taking edges off. But on the whole, I think about 1 mil or so. You know, does the body move and flex? Probably a little bit, but as long as no one rests their foot on these, I don't think there's going to be any pressure, and nothing's going to be cracking, because that's what you need to be wary of. If it's too tight, your paint's going to crack somewhere. Yeah, so we'll just give it a little bit of a file, I think, and call that fitted. Okay, and for illustration purposes only, you can see that we can get a bolt all the way through, and that should all be absolutely perfect. So we'd have to cut the pipes to the correct length, because that's what denotes how far away the jack lifter is away from the body. And then you can put a bolt through and do it up tight, and that will hold it. And now we're at the front of the car, and pretty much the last holes that I need to make are for the front jack lifters. So they will go through the body here, and then they will attach to this bracket on the inside, straight through. So nothing too crazy to work out. I like to try and keep this bracket kind of as low as possible, because of course we need to fit the splitter as well, now or when the car comes back from paint. And the fixings there are obviously going to be halfway up this front of the nose there, and we just don't want to have any impact there or anything fouling them or anything other aggro to deal with. So I'm going to keep that reasonably low and in line with that top hole. As to where we're doing the holes, well, you know, you couldn't get anything more curvy, really, could you? Again, it's an aesthetics thing. I'm just going to mark up the holes I think that I need, which I think is about 55 mil, and I think I'm just going to mark them up on a bit of tape or something, and then see where they kind of look the best. But I guess I'm going to be trying to take some kind of rough measurement, or make them look pretty good between this opening and the vent here, and see if we can put them in there. Okay, so I've taken some random lines from you know, the point of here, and I've measured this and seen where, you know, these lines, markings from AK line up, etc. I'm pretty happy with this. We're going to go with just there. I measured 55 down. That one, bottom one, was just out slightly, and same, well, nearly the same here. They're pretty good. So pretty happy with this marking here, and this was just a fraction out perhaps, but we'll see how it goes. We'll measure again once I start making some holes. So I'm just going to go in and then straighten up, and go in at just there at a bit of an angle, and we should be good. Rightio, so we seem to have fairly good success with that. So they look a bit odd, you know, face on, but it is all at a bit of an angle, but I'm pretty okay with how that fits. There's a fair bit of movement. Oh, you know what? That bottom one has got a bit more movement. How much play has this one got at the top? Yeah, so when that is totally lined up straight, it's a bit tight to the right and maybe the left. So I'm just going to just open that up just a little bit, just to give me some flexibility and a bit of freedom there, and nothing's going to crack when anything expands or happens to lean on it. Yeah, just a little bit more clearance, about 1 millimeter each side, left and right. Bottom one's pretty good. Okay, so now we've done the holes, it's now time to fit the bracket, because now you can adjust it and put it where you need to, where the holes are coming out. So this is fairly simple, so you just need to mark it up. So there's two sort of schools of thought here. Either I was thinking about doing it lower down because I don't want it to foul the splitter fit in. So I was doing it as low down as I possibly could to get that top hole in. It obviously needs to sort of stay horizontal because you don't want to have to start angling the bits of chrome pipe that you put in, or any messing around like that. But then I thought perhaps maybe the best option would be to do it higher up. Then you can bring it forward. And then that should still miss the splitter fixing, I'm hoping. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I've marked it up to be about here, and I think the splitter fixing will be a fair way behind this bracket. Anyway, it won't be a big deal to undo it, and if I need to take a smidge of meat off the back of this bracket, I can do. But for now, this is what we're going to go for. All right, we're all done there. So opened up the hole, starting at about a 6 mil and working my way up to a 10. And I did just run through an 11 mil drill bit, just to give me that extra flexibility, just in case, it's quite hard to line up the holes all the way through. So just in case I needed a bit of extra flexibility. And then I just take some time and just make sure that I don't need to open up the holes very slightly. Make sure I've got enough room for manoeuvre to when I come to make them straight, and nothing's going to be hard up against the body. So I did just open up the bottom one just very slightly, because I think it's right up against the body when I make this totally horizontal. So now I'm all pretty happy with that. Obviously the tubes is just slightly bigger than the bolts that go through, so that's handy as well, because they can go up against the side of the bolt if it becomes a little bit tight. And then I can always angle the tubes when I cut them to the correct size, because the tube length is what denotes how far where your jack lifters go. Obviously this is not correct. I'm going to be bringing them out to about here, I guess. So I'll have to cut the tubes to the correct length, and you can angle the tubes a little bit so they sit on the face of the bracket inside or the front, and they can help you angle very slightly the way the jack lifters sit. So all pretty happy with that. Gosh, it's been a hell of a long run, hasn't it? So we're nearly there. Just the final few holes to do before the car can go off to paint. So we need to take the windscreen off. Well, actually it's already gone. And we need to be doing the vent holes and the rearview mirror as well. So I'll set you up, we'll just blast through those hopefully, and that'll be it. Let's see what I normally do. All right, so all I'm doing here is I'm going to roughly use AK's position. It's all pretty good, but I just need to make sure that they're all centered up. So I'm going to take my center line and just see where this first one is. So we could do the hole at about 20.5, maybe 21. So once I've marked 21, I think we'll do on both sides. Is that going to be my hole or where this slot starts? Let's do 20. Let's do 21 for the hole, I think. And then what I'm going to do as best as I can, I'm going to make sure that whatever distance this is about 10 centimeters. Make sure it's 10 centimeters here as well, just so that we're following a bit of the line of the scuttle there. And we'll mark that up, make sure it all follows, and then we'll position a vent on there and just draw the slot out properly, and the two holes, and we should be golden. So I'll just concentrate and do that, and then we'll do some cutting. All right, so I think we've got a pretty good handle on this, so we're going to go ahead and do the holes first. So just sort of 2.5 mil. Make sure you don't go through into cables or anything underneath. And with that, along with the rear view mirror holes, I am pretty confident that's the last hole I need to make in this car before it goes to paint. I will let you know if there are any more, but I think that's it. So these are pretty easy. You can do them probably wider than you think, because you don't really want any paint bodywork to show through the holes, I guess. If you're at an angle, I think in the past when it comes back from paint, I might have just touched up the inside of what you can see on the edge with black body paint, just so it doesn't detract and you don't see another colour and through it. I'm not sure if there's anything to be gained by beveling the inside or trying to direct the air. I did just go in at a bit of an angle on this edge to maybe make the air come up and hit the windscreen a little more. But that's essentially it. So pretty pleased with all that. Change of scene. We're inside the house today because we're wiring the dashboard. Let's see what we got. All right, so I'm all set up here with a range of tools and connectors and a range of instructions and the dashboard itself. Now, a little bit nervous today because I'm using all different gauges and different switch gear. Normally I use Savage switches, which are difficult enough to get your head round, but today I've got these new style Savage switches with these long tails on, many more wires than I was expecting on each switch. I know that 3 of them give you different color LEDs, and you can even combine to give you different colors, but a heck of a lot of leads. You can't cut these too short either because they've got LED resistors, I think, to make sure the LEDs light up. Maybe we can trim the ones that we don't need at the end, so that'll be quite good. The usual method here is to daisy chain, and that keeps your wires nice and short, I guess, and quite neat. However, I don't do that, or very limited, because if there's a problem with the switch, it's quite hard to diagnose where it might be in that daisy chain. So I pretty much do every connection to wherever it's meant to go. To make that easier, I've just bonded in these couple of blocks here. So I'll have like, I think it's red and white for illumination. I'll have the main loom go into to here, and then I'll be able to take every single light and every single dial's illumination lead to this block. Likewise earth, so I'd be taking the main earth from the AK loom here, taking it to a block that I want to use for earth, and all the earths go to that. And hopefully that'll be quite neat and easy, and I can combine a couple of earths into their own connector and into one connector and terminate it. And I think I've got another block here. I can't actually remember if I end up using it. For some reason I put in another one. Maybe it's for a sort of main power or something. So that's the kind of switches that I've got to get a handle on, which is going to be difficult for me because I don't really get the a whole switched on and usually in off position terminology, so we'll have to work that out. And then we got a new range of dials. I'm not using Smith's dials. These are pretty similar, and I've got to say their bracketry is quite nice, and it all looks the part. But again, this is all new, and I've got to make up connectors to each one. Whereas the Smith dials, well, like these, they got a kind of their own little loom coming out, but we'll have to make up our own terminations on these little ones. What else have I got going on? Obviously got USB, and for the first time, as per the instructions, the immobilizer gets fitted to the dashboard. So I think the instructions say to fit it somewhere around the glove box. I've bonded in a couple of bolts here, so that I can just put it on here. Half of these cables are going because we don't use half of them. We only use one, a couple of earths and power and something else to break the circuit. So I'll just be able to bolt that onto here. I put on a P-clip here just as a bit of a tether, so there can be no sort of untoward tugging when you putting the dashboard on and off. So obviously these go into the connectors into the car, and the rest of these wires will be cut to various lengths and go to wherever the heck they're meant to be going. And once I've got a handle on that, I'll probably put a zip tie either side of this P-clip just to hold it all tight. My ignition switch will be sunk in somewhere over here, but I do that last once it's kind of in the car. But I'll bring all the connectors over there, and I think I'll have to do one long lead all the way to the USB as well. So quite a lot to do. You know, I don't really know what to do. You just got to start, basically, and start with the easy stuff. So I will generally do all the earths. So I know that most of these warning lights need to have either terminal can go to an earth. So I'll be taking them all the way to my earth block. I might daisy chain a few of these, so I've just got one cable coming down to my earth block because they're quite easy to diagnose and deal with. But everything else I'm all a bit concerned about. Got a hell of a lot of writing, hell of a lot of instructions about what goes where. There's an awful lot of writing, and this talks about the Smith's instruments a lot and the original Savage switches. So we need to see if we can get a grip on all of this, and of course the connections for my gauges. Now I would like to do a time lapse, but I just think there's going to be an awful lot of me just sitting and staring at it, and a lot of cutting and shutting of the video. So I think I'll just give you a couple of updates as I go on, probably after I've done all the earth, so you can see that, all the LED connections, so you can see that, and we'll just see if we can just slim down this amount of wire and get to a point where we're happy. Right, so I guess we're about, well, we are probably about an hour in and haven't even touched the AK loom yet. We are busy earthing everything, so daisy chaining is kind of your friend, just to reduce the amount of paths of cables we got going. So that's what we're doing. Real basic stuff first. I've earthed all of the switches. I've earthed the dials. I've illuminated the switches. I'm going for blue, so doing the blue there. Illuminated the 3 dials. Unfortunately, the clock has to have its own terminals because it hasn't got a handy, clickable connector loom bit. So I need to be able to take that off on its own and take it through the dash for when I send it off to trim. What else is happening? So yeah, they're all illuminated. So that's all good. I haven't even got to earth and illuminate my starter yet. So yeah, that's where we are. Slow and steady. Take it easy on the connections. Some of these wires are fairly thick going into one spade, but it seems to handle it all right, especially if you've got a crimp tool like I have. So that really doubles down on them, and I don't think anything's coming out. So yeah, we're going to carry on. Well, I haven't got a lot of good information to report. Not that anything's going particularly badly. It's just going, that's all. So just ticking off all the connections now, working my way through these dash disconnect plugs. Pretty confused by a couple of bits, mainly because we've got these new switches. So I've got a handle on a couple of connections because AK kindly listed the new switch here and what connection goes to what. So I now know what's common, normally open, normally closed. And I'm hoping to apply that information now that I know what white, yellow, brown means coming out of these switches. And I can connect them correctly to the rest of the dash disconnects. I think my main issue is probably going to be the hazard switch, because that's got it needs a jumper in it, and it also comes from the indicators as well. So that could be a tricky, but generally getting there. Obviously, good idea to label all your dials and everything before you start, so you don't have to turn it upside down. And yeah, I'm just whittling away really. I've only got these connections left, so I know I've got to go to indicators and things. I've got to go to the fan. And the hazards, etc. So I think that's pretty much it. So we'll keep on keeping on. Well, I guess it looks like a bit of a tidy mess. There's an awful lot of cables that I think I can cut off. All these other coloured cables and the other side of the switches, which are not needed. So all these big bundles I can probably cut off, but not yet, not until I've done some testing. There's not really any detail I can show you. I've just been going through the colours. I've still got my hazard to do and my left-right indicators, because that does concern me. I'm not quite sure which side of the switches to use, but I think I can work it out. I think I can work it out from this diagram, knowing that pin 1 is going to be white on these new switches, pin 2 is yellow, and pin 3 is brown. So I think I can just about work that out, given a little bit of time. So yeah, you need to make connections to the hazard switch, and they need to be bundled or jumped to the indicators. And that is that. And then that just leaves me with the rest of the wiring on the speedo and the rev counter. So that's a little bit confusing as well. There's a couple of wires that I don't think are needed, because that is if you're getting signals from different kinds of devices, like you've got a magnet next to your prop shaft, or whether you're using an ECU, etc. So I just need to read through that a bit more carefully and see where the wires might go. But we are nearly there. But I think I've got enough going to see if I could get a first start of the car. A bit of an abrupt end in there, because we have first start hopefully just around the corner. Hopefully you got something from this video though, installing the windscreen wipers, Frenching in the rear lights if that's something you wanted to do, and of course doing the installing the quick jacks as well. Unfortunately, wiring, if I was to document every single connection, that'd be quite a long, laborious video. So hopefully you got some tips out of it and how to start. My season 3 video, wiring the dash, is a lot more detailed, and that might help you a little bit more. And of course, I'm always available to help. If you want to go to russhowell.com, which is my website, and you can find some email details there. And I already receive emails from an awful lot of you. So if you wouldn't mind doing a quick like and subscribe before you turn off, and I'll see you again.